Okay, so today we're going to figure out how to find the equation of a line if you're given 2 points along the line. It sounds a little confusing, but if you watched a previous video, you'll notice I showed you how to, when you're given 2 points, kind of like what we have right here and right here, when you're given 2 points, to find the slope of those two lines. There was a formula that we used to find the slope, and so I'm going to show you it right now. Let's see, how did it go? We used m for slope. I'll just write slope so it's more clear. So slope, we used m. It's just a symbol. And this was the formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And what we did is we went back up here to our 2 points and we said, let's call this one x1. X always comes first with these points, right? And then y. So x1, y1. Then over here we're going to call this one x2, y2. And that helps us put these coordinates in the right spot, or these numbers in the right spot. Okay? So underneath that, let's see, maybe I'll go across just to make it a little bit more room for later. We're going to take y2 minus y1, which is really negative 9 minus 2. Negative 9 minus 2. And then on the bottom, it's going to be x2 minus x1. So instead of x2, we're going to write negative 10 minus 1. And if you remember the videos that I did on integers, you'll know that negative 9 minus 2 is negative 11. And negative 10 minus 1 is actually negative 11 as well. Wow. That's kind of a strange question because we have the exact same thing on the top and the bottom. Let's simplify this. If you were to take negative 11 divided by negative 11, which is what that means when you have a fraction, in this case it does divide nicely. Negative 11 divided by negative 11 is 1. It's positive 1, so we don't write anything here. We don't put a negative sign, that's for sure. The reason why is a negative divided by a negative will always give us a positive. Okay? So here's our slope. We know what the slope is. The last video I made was a video on how to, when you're given the slope and 1 point on the line, how to get the equation. And what I mean by equation is this. Something in this form. We use the slope-intercept form. Here's the slope and the intercept. Okay? So we know the slope is 1. And when you look at these 2 points, there's something we don't know. We don't know the y-intercept, which is right here. This is the part we're going to find out right now. We're using the same technique I just used in the last video where we had a slope. It was called how to find the equation of a line given a slope and a point along the line. Feel free to watch that one if I'm going too quickly here, okay? Because I'm going to start going quicker. What you do from here is you look up at these 2 points right here and you say, which one looks easier, the 1, 2, or the negative 10 and negative 9? Which one would you rather work with? Personally, I'd rather work with the 1 and the 2 because they're just easier to work with. And we have a y right down here, and we have an x. Put the 2 and the 1 in the right spots. So just like the last video, put the 2 right here. Make that equal to, well, m is the slope. We know that's 1. In brackets, I'm going to put the x value, which is also 1, coming from right here where I'm pointing. Okay, everybody? And then plus b. The b is what we're going to find out, so let's simplify things here. 1 times 1 is just 1. How do we get rid of the 1 now so that the b is all by itself? That's right. Subtract 1 from both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other, right? So that's going to cancel here. And we're left with 2 minus 1 is 1. Wow, this equation's kind of interesting because it looks like this. And here's the final answer. Y equals, the slope is 1, x, and the y-intercept is also 1. In a textbook, they wouldn't write this 1 in the very front. It would be invisible. So they just write it like that. This would be our final answer, just like a textbook would have. And we'd be good to go. Okay? Let's do one more question just to make sure you kind of get what's going on here. So I'm going to hit clear, and I will get rid of this question here. and trade it for this one. Okay, here's 2 points on the line, and we're going to start with finding the slope first of all. Okay, so we're going to find the slope, which is m when it comes to our slope-intercept form, so we'll just call this m. And remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Hopefully you're able to follow along as I do this a little bit quicker. y2 minus y1. 8 minus 2. There we go. And 9 minus 1. 8 minus 2 is 6. 9 minus 1 is 8. And then simplify this. It doesn't simplify as nicely as the last question, but 6 over 8, if you wanted to simplify it, well, they could both be divided by what number to simplify? They could both be divided by 2. That would work. Is there anything bigger that would divide 2? Nope. Okay, so we're going to use 2. Divide the top and the bottom by 2. We're going to end up with 3 over 4, or 3/4. Now we know our slope. Let's go find the y-intercept basically. So you start with this. Y equals mx plus b. Okay? And if this is confusing, make sure you're watching the earlier videos. Okay. Now, which pair look easier to work with, the 1, 2 or the 9, 8? I would go with the 1, 2 just because it looks a little easier. So put the 2 where the y is. Put the 3/4 where the m is. Now remember, we're multiplying. So we're going to multiply by the x value of 1. That's easy. Plus b. I love multiplying by 1. Okay, so we have 2 equals 3 over 4 plus b. How do we get rid of 3 over 4? Well, instead of positive 3 over 4, we're going to subtract 3 over 4. That's going to cancel from this side. And really, what we have over here, let's write it on the side here, is 2 minus 3 over 4. How do you take 2 minus 3 over 4? This is where you need to review fractions, folks, and a lot of people don't like working with fractions. But sometimes they come up, and I have to show you how to work with them, okay? To subtract or add, we need a common denominator. So right now it's 2 over 1. We're going to make this 1 become a 4. How would we do that? That's right. Multiply the top and the bottom by 4. So we really have this. 8 over 4, which is 2, right? 8 over 4 minus 3 over 4. Now when you subtract the tops. You go 8 minus 3, you're going to get 5. And on the bottom, you're going to get, you keep the 4 actually. You just keep it. So we're going to have 5 over 4 equals b. 5 over 4 is our y-intercept. We now know everything we need to know to write the final answer, which is the equation that they were looking for. So let's write it out. Y equals 3 over 4x, because the slope comes first, which is right here, plus the y-intercept. The y-intercept was 5 over 4. Now, if you were handing this in to me, it would be up to you. If you want to leave it as a fraction, that's up to you. You could also take and turn this into a mixed fraction, which is 4 times what goes into 5? Well, 4 times 1. You leave the 4 on the bottom. And how much is left over? 4 times 1 is 4. How much more makes 5? So 1 1/4. You could put 1 1/4 here. You could leave it as 5 over 4. Or something even easier is to take your calculator and just go 5 divided by 4. Okay? 5 divided by 4. 1.25. I guess that makes sense because this says 1 1/4. So you could have 1.25. So this could go there, or this, or you could just leave it as this answer right here with the 5 over 4. Okay, that's our final answer. That one was a little tougher because of all the fractions going on. But either way, you're good. Okay, try and practice this out now. Make sure you get it. And ask your teacher questions if you're stuck. Thanks, bye.